The Game of the Year nominees are...
Welcome to yet another video essay about the Game of the Year nominees at the Game Awards. Here are all of the nominees, and today I'm here to talk to you about Balatro. Balatro has been getting a lot of love and hate recently, now that it's been nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards, which is basically just the Oscars but for video games. Everyone seems to have an opinion, and some of them are incorrect. I think it's especially funny that people started playing Balatro because it got nominated and are now realizing why it was nominated. But unfortunately, many people still don't understand why Balatro deserves to win Game of the Year. I want to clarify that I don't necessarily think Balatro is a better overall game than some of the other nominees. I just think the title of Game of the Year deserves to go to a game like Balatro and what Balatro stands for. What I don't want to see is people putting other people down or other games down simply because someone has a different opinion than them. This isn't what video games are about. This isn't what the Game Awards are supposed to be about. They're supposed to be about a celebration of the video game industry and the video game culture. I don't want to see people bashing Balatro or thinking that because Balatro is just a simple looking game that it somehow deserves a little bit more scrutiny than the other nominees. Before I tell you why I think Balatro should win Game of the Year, let me get some of the hot takes out of the way first. No, I don't think DLCs should be nominated for Game of the Year. They are not standalone games, no matter how much content exists within them. Think about the greatest DLC you've ever played. Is that really a Game of the Year? While I understand the argument that remakes should not be nominated either, I tend to disagree with it. Remakes are not remasters, and when an old game gets completely remade from the ground up, which Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is, I believe it exists as a work of its own. Although I do think it's silly that they're remaking them into 3 separate games. Silent Hill 2 definitely got snubbed there. Lastly, I've only played 2 of the 6 games nominated for Game of the Year, but I don't think I needed to play the rest of them in order to have an opinion. I truly think Balatro deserves to win the award, and here's why.
And the Oscar goes to Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Much like any Best of the Year award among any entertainment medium, it's not just about what performed the best or had the highest rating among critics. It's about a work that truly pushes the industry forward, innovating within the genre in some remarkable way. If you were asked to recommend a game that was released in 2024 to someone who has never played a video game in their life, this should be the first game you think of. It should be the best video game that the industry has to offer. You don't need millions of dollars involved in development. You don't need a team of 250 to create it. You don't need some mega publishers backing. You just need a game good enough to be considered the best. It should be the poster child for video games released this year, and I can't think of a game better than Balatro. Yes, it's a poker game. Yes, the art style is fairly simplistic. Yes, there's only one song in the entire game, but Balatro is so much more than that. While the core of the game is simple to grasp, the mechanics and systems are shockingly complex. You play cards to win, sure, but there are a million different ways to do that, and every run has the possibility of hitting you with new challenges that you have to overcome. No, there isn't some heart-wrenching story beat here. There aren't overarching RPG mechanics to improve and customize your character, and there are no cameos from old games you know and love. Not only is it just an incredibly good game of its own merit, but it's received universal acclaim, with many game journals citing just how addictive it really is. It innovates on a genre that I believe is massively underrated, and accomplishes so much while reaching for so little, which leads me to my next point. A small, indie game created by a solo developer should win Game of the Year. There are entire libraries full of indie games that are better than whatever blockbuster AAA hit came out their respective year. This would be justice for all of the games that deserve recognition. For example, in 2021, one of the greatest indie games of all time was released. Valheim sat at overwhelmingly positive on Steam with hundreds of thousands of reviews. A month after its release, it sold over 5 million copies, doubling that by the next year. It was lightning in a bottle. Everyone was playing it, and if you weren't playing it, then you were probably thinking about playing it. And while that year, It Takes Two won Game of the Year at the Game Awards, and might have deserved it, Valheim wasn't even nominated. It was relegated to Debut Indie of the Year, which it didn't even win. To put it bluntly, I'm tired of indie games getting relegated to their own category, especially when the heaviest hitters outweigh the AAA slop almost every time. And Balatro winning Game of the Year would show everyone that indie games have always deserved a seat at the table. Not only would it be a massive win at the Game Awards, but think about the countless people it would inspire to take that first step into the game development world. Of course, I don't know how Local Thunk got his start, but it would show people that you don't need to start with much but a dream. I also think that the people angry about Balatro being nominated for Game of the Year just haven't played Balatro. They think going on Twitter and quote retweeting the nominees with "Solitaire got nominated over Stellar Blade" is known. They're the same people who say video games aren't the same anymore and only play 2K, Madden, and Fortnite. Get a little creative, try out something different, explore your options. I promise you there are games out there that you would fall in love with if given the chance, Balatro included. This video isn't meant to put down the other nominees either. I love Astrobot. My first console ever was a PlayStation, and some of my favorite titles growing up came from Sony. While Astrobot is the only game aside from Balatro I would be okay with winning, I don't think it should take the cake. It's an amazing game, but it doesn't really push the industry forward. If anything, it's a game that takes a look back at what came before. There's nothing wrong with that, but I don't think it qualifies as Game of the Year material. Metaphor Refantasio is another really solid pick. Although I've never played it, I have played Persona 5, and I trust Atlus to release some heat. Plus, I've seen a lot of raving reviews, but nothing that would make it the poster child for 2024's best video game. Black Myth Wukong is yet again another extremely good pick. I never played it, but the story, art, and music alone show off the extraordinary production that it is. I just don't think any of these games are as important for the culture as Balatro. I think the people who really truly love the artistry and passion behind video games would appreciate seeing the poker roguelike win it all. But that's just my opinion. Who do you think should win? And why? Thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you later.